Your bad days look better than my good days.
We're live. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our December meeting, Highway Parks Recreation Committee. Okay, we have minutes attached for our November meeting, so I need a motion to accept the minutes from the November meeting, please.
Motion.
Motion, second. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. Minutes from November are passed. Thank you. Okay. Next on our agenda is public comment, and we have Roy here for that this morning. Welcome, Roy.
Thank you. Did everybody get the letter that I sent?
We did, it was very informative.
Okay,
Yes.
there's extra copies here if you want hard copies, 5 of them.
I'll take one of those, Roy. I like a hard copy, you know? Little might not
Okay.
have gotten that.
I'll take one too.
Absolutely.
The reason I'm here is just to bring you up to date on what I saw out at Blackneck Park this past summer and to bring up a couple of concerns. I've been working on this since 2013, 2012. And the history is that my wife and I were walking out on the landfill and in 2012 saw bobolinks, which are an endangered bird species in the east at least, and lack adequate grassland habitat. This, I think, was in late May or early June. We came out later. The grass had been mowed. The bobolinks disappeared for that year. So since then, I've been advocating for limited mowing on the landfill cap. Then a few years ago, the Conservation Advisory Council and I guess Ray and other people did set aside a couple of low mow areas, one of which is next to the driving range. That's a fairly small one, and a considerably larger one up on the landfill cap. Those unmowed areas on the landfill cap have been well populated with grassland birds and pollinators and insects. This year, I visited the bluebird boxes. There's 18 of them around the landfill. And I visited them about 20 times, maintaining them, putting up a new one. So first bluebird on April 1, and then several tree swallows on April 19th. And nesting was over by mid-August.
That's nice.
It's a little cooler.
Having money.
Things are tough this year.
I think about 50 of the tree swallows managed to hatch, grow up and leave the nest. If you've been out there, you see them flying overhead, gathering probably tons of insects every year. The bluebirds, there were 2 successful nests, a couple of nests that didn't work for some reason, one of which I think was attacked by a wren. So there were probably 10 bluebirds that fledged and will hopefully come back next year. And I did notice not a lot, but bobolinks, meadowlarks, and Savannah sparrows, among other things, including some song sparrows. They seem to nest out there. They need undisturbed grassland mid-May through mid-August, and then the insects need flowers and so on through about the first frost, which would be about the 1st of October. I also saw some killdeer plovers out with chicks, and those nest in, I can't believe they do it, just sort of in the grass and on the gravel. And somehow some of them manage to survive.
They nest in our sand piles too.
Yeah.
We see them down there all the time. And we try to take dirt from other areas if we see, they're in there. So when
Right.
we,
Matt told me that he spotted a nest or them running around on the baseball diamond.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Put a barrier to keep that from being mowed for a while. Anyway, then, we did see, there's a list of the birds that I and others have seen and heard on the Merlin app. I don't know, is everybody familiar with that?
It wasn't until I just read that and how cool. I'm,
It's-
I'm often thinking that too,
Uh-huh.
like, what is that, you know?
I got it right here on my phone.
I do too. I
It's
didn't know
a-
it existed.
Yeah, it's a free download. It's from the Cornell Cooperative Extension. And you turn it on and hit a couple of buttons and hold it up and it hears better than we do. Occasionally makes mistakes, but it will identify a surprising number of birds. And it's a lot of fun. And it will also then pull up and show you a picture of the bird and some description of what it's all about. Then the sad news is that the disc golf band that was mowed this year was mowed right at the end of June and early July. And prior to that, I had seen bobolinks, and I think that what happened was the grass was tall enough at that point that some of them had been suckered into nesting there. And the mowing kind of drove them off.
We had that early, really wet season.
Yeah, I know.
And we were a little behind on mowing because of how wet it was. We actually do more damage than we do good. We did get some pressure from disc golf too. They gave us a digital readout, which they did shrink the footprint a little bit, but I do see your point that it was already tall enough that they were in there, which was unfortunate, but it all had to do with weather. We had a really wet beginning of the season to be able to get out there and actually do that. So
Right. Well, that, I noticed that around my place as well. Really wet season and boom, the rain
Yep.
quit. And it was tough to keep some of the plants alive. This is totally aside, but mowing in that really dry season, if a mower strikes a rock, you might even set a fire out there. It happened to my brother-in-law down in Arkansas. A guy was
Really?
mowing. Now, they had flint rocks or chert rocks in the pasture, but the blade struck a rock, struck a spark and started a fire. Um, Then invasive plants, there's some that are moving on to the capped landfill. Moliflora rose is one which might be relatively easy to control. Unfortunately, it either takes digging out or cutting off and spot treating with insecticides. Around some of the telephone poles, there are what you might call reservoirs of these plants that produce the seeds the birds like to eat, scatter over the landfill and start new plants. Then there's some others out there, teasel, and then Phragmites is that big tall grass. That's from Australia. And it is, that's another real tough one because I think it has a root mat. I don't even really know how to deal with it. There are a couple of websites that you can go to. One is at New York State DEC. One is called PRISM, PRISM, which I think is joint between DEC and Cornell Cooperative that talks about invasive plants and what to try to do about them. I'd be willing to take a small group around in
I
the
guess we'll do
spring.
that in the spring.
Andrew did that with Roy
Yeah.
a few years back.
I'd like to.
Okay, well, when things are up and sprouted and green, we'll work that out. Overall, management of that capped landfill, I think, has been a valuable addition to the wildlife in wildlife habitat in Muscuna that hopefully will continue and maybe have some improvement.
And we appreciate your dedication and this is very informative and I think a lot of us, take from these brochures that you bring to us and, you know, Bill's been up there, I've been up there. You know, we spend time up there too, looking at a lot of things that you identified that we would probably normally overlook or just happen to see them when we're up there working and not necessarily go there on our personal time and look, which we do now. So,
Great.
and you've always been a very good advocate for all the good things that have gone on up there.
As an aside, there's a Niskayuna Journal. It's published once a week in the Gazette. And I think it is possibly a good resource for you to start putting positive news into. Could be about the habitat maintenance. It could be about town programs. I think it's underutilized. It's mostly just sports and a couple of crime.
We do
Can we
one once a
read
month.
this in our newsletter?
Yeah,
Looking
absolutely.
at getting this information.
We had been doing once a month a half-page ad in there with
Mhm.
just various things about the community. But we just found out last week that they're no longer mailing it to the homes. They're gonna stop that altogether. So that you'll only have it if you're a Gazette subscriber or you buy it on whatever day of the week it comes out.
Well, it's free in the grocery stores.
Oh, they did say that they would put a stack here for us as well, but it won't have as much widespread.
Like it does now. Yeah, everybody
So-
gets.
Oh, boy, how am I gonna start my fires now? Jeez.
So I did, we reached out to the Gazette to see if they would allow us to put the e-version, which is just like a scanned copy of it essentially, on our website without requiring people to create an account and log in and things like that. They haven't really told us whether or not they would do that, but we can at the very least put a link to it. You can get access to it online for free. They're just not going to mail it to the house, which I can't really blame them. The cost of postage is.
It'd be great.
And we're doing a newsletter here that I just asked Aaron, and we can probably include that in our parks and in rec area of it, you know, like this information that you gave us would be good for people. I think people would probably go explore it a little more.
Well, I get a ping from the town on any new news item that comes up. And maybe that could be expanded a little bit to put in these links to the good publicity.
Yeah. Coincidentally, I think it was last meeting, we had a conversation about disc golf.
Yes, I was gonna mention that to you, that we're in early discussion about that and whether the resources that we've put forth to continue to maintain that are really worth the effort.
Right.
And trying to determine what kind of use that is getting and whether it's really something that we should continue. So we'll
Ellen has got that on her mind as well.
keep you posted on that. Yeah. So, I mean, they have a tournament once a year we know about right now, but we don't know if if it's getting much use. And again, it takes a lot of effort for us to maintain that.
I just sent a note to Ellen. I looked up the disc golf tournaments. They had one last year in March, and I looked to see if there's one scheduled for this year, and at least so far there's not.
They have one every March. They have for years. Yeah.
And I also noticed that there is a $25 to $50 fee for each person to enter. And
Yeah.
at the bottom, it says, bring your own brown bag lunch. So I'm wondering if the town gets any benefit out of those fees.
No.
Well, we get to pick the brown bags up later on. But other than
Yeah.
Well, that's something that to your point, that's something that we're discussing.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, that's my bit. Any questions?
Great to see you as always.
Good to see you.
Thank you for what
so
you
much,
do.
Roy.
Great to see you. Thank you.
You.
My email address, when you could email me that.
I think I have it in email. Yeah, I can
Okay.
forward it. I can forward it over. Sure.
Okay, but if you want to receive future ones,
Sure, why not? You
know
know,
that,
nice is when, I noticed on our website, when you talk about the trails, the hiking, little
Yeah.
hiking trails, walking paths, there's an overall picture that kind of shows, but you can't drill down to find out the on and off point. And it would be really helpful
Mhm.
and really cool. And
Yeah.
it might kind of just, you know,
Ashok did that, NRI, the Natural
Yeah.
Resources Inventory. And he has a ton of maps and like overviews of green space and trails and
that would
things
be really cool.
that I think we could pull right off of there and put them right on the website. Yeah,
Place to do that.
yeah. I mean,
There's another app called All Trails.
does it have, is it like satellite
in the
based?
United States,
Oh,
basically
it's
with,
nationwide?
yeah.
Oh.
All trails?
Got a GPS thing in and you can just find out where you are on the trail just by having your.
No kidding.
That'd be helpful in general, really.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Lloyd.
See you again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great holiday.
Good holidays.
Trail maps, parks and rec, all the
They do it right on there.
All right, Ray.
Okay, Highway and Parks, just a note, Andrew's, joining us today. Andrew's gonna start being involved doing more day-to-day stuff with Lori, Courtney, and sports groups, just for, going forward. I've had many discussions with Erin. She wants to keep track of data a little more, time spent on fields, and just to try to make improvements to time usage, time that we spend doing things, and cost effectiveness. So Andrew will be joining us for the parks portion of the meetings, and you know, hopefully moving forward, Erin can collect the data that she wants, and um,
It's not a question of micromanaging. It's a question of us getting an idea where our resources are being spent,
Exactly.
right?
And
then
he's-
looking at, okay, we're spending X number of hours either at soccer or baseball
And
and
materials and things
all the
like that.
things.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to get a little handle on that.
and he's involved in this every day, so it's much easier for him to track the data and all that stuff, and just do the high demands that Lori and Courtney give us. So it'll take.
Really, not demanding. You and Patty are pretty good about providing a lot of information about where you're spending the time. But for us and figuring out these sports fields, because it's just one of these clunky things that keeps evolving over time, the more information that we have, the better. I just feel like we'll be able to say, this is how much it costs the town
Yeah.
to maintain the fields for just recreation. And then when we do more, this is what it looks like. So
I mean, there is, like I explained to you, I mean, there's a lot of things that happen that just aren't even kept, just last minute as need to, and just stuff that we just go and do because we have to, whether it's fill a hole in a field so somebody doesn't get hurt that they identify when they're out mowing. So there's a lot of that, and I think this will be helpful in collecting the data that will make it better. So
I think also just having the community programs and parks, because they're so closely related. So sorry about that, but so far away from highway, really.
that's it.
So I feel like that partnership will be more effective when we have one more.
Oh,
person
great.
open.
Don't ask me.
Sorry, very.
Nice. All right. One highway crews. As usual, our resident request list, anything from tree calls to pothole patching to basin repairs, small drainage projects that we, kind of address this time of year when we have time to get into some remote areas that the ground needs to be frozen for us to get in there. Less footprint, less damage to property that we have to access. So those are the type of things we do from this part on when we're not plowing snow. Number two, parks crew, obviously up till the other day, have been doing their cleanups of leaves, cleaning all the pavilions. We were able to get in and oversee the soccer park. All fields were done, all 6 fields. We'll be doing a barricade on the lower road hopefully within a week or so. The Balltown Road entrance, only because this seems to be an area where we had some vandalism to the fields, people driving out on the fields. It's pretty isolated, so nobody really sees people going in there and doing this stuff. So it was brought to us by the soccer park, as an option to help protect those fields. So we'll be putting some concrete barriers there. Probably next year we'll do a more permanent, maybe a gate, and be able to leave it open all summer long and then just close it for the winter. So
Yeah.
we're comfortable with this because there's no buildings or anything down there that would need fire protection. So we're comfortable with it, if so we're going to be doing that sometime in the near future. Winterizing of parks facilities, thank you to Charlie and Ronnie. They worked really hard to close up all these facilities, and uh, it's getting to be that we're staying open longer and longer. Groups are still doing things, and it just gets extended too long to, and I get it. I mean, there's nice days and people are like, well, why couldn't you keep it up? But it ends up being like an emergency call for us when
Shut things down.
we do have to shut things down and we have to protect it. It's a lot of money if those pipes freeze underground in these buildings and stuff like that. So, we kind of got to do a deadline, like everything else that has, Great Escape closes at a certain date. They don't stay open for an extra week because somebody had a birthday party. So I think we need to zone in on this is when we're open to, this is when we'll try to open things. So just in the future,
Is it Blatnick's the only one that's winterized bathroom wise?
no. So driving range is winterized, the pool is winterized, football's winterized.
Oh, no, I mean,
Open
like,
for the winter?
open for the winter.
So the one at Aqueduct Park is heated.
Right.
That one stays open. That's for access off the bike path and that. The one at in front of the transfer station by
Yeah.
baseball,
Okay.
that one's heated. And hopefully the new one at River Road Park will be heated for to be utilized for the trails and that when we do build it. So
I was thinking the train station, could we look into how much that would be, or would it be a huge pain in the butt? Because I've had a lot of people ask because it's huge.
yeah, because that is the
Probably
busiest
used
place on the bike
year-round.
path.
Year round that gets used.
If we have, like, I know I keep talking about this pot of money and I want to use it for the train station.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I know, definitely need to do the roof and the decking just to get things put together there, but depending on what it would cost to use them in the winter, maybe it's worth it to wrap that into that project.
We could take a look, and it's a small roof. We'll come up with some options there.
Pick at that because I feel like that's the one I hear about most often, and then there's one we don't have to close.
Right,
Yeah,
we
but then
just
you
have,
clean it,
we just have to
maintain
shovel it and
shovel it.
keep
Yeah,
it
it's just-
open.
Well, I was going.
Right. Well,
Probably, Ray, you'll love it.
Where is it? With your pot of money? All right, Mohawk Park discussion. I've been working with Aaron on finalizing paperwork for Phil Steck's office to get this money released. Another big pot of money Aaron has sitting around. So Kenny is working on upgraded quotes right now to try to get to you so that we can move forward. We know there'll be increases come January. I'm trying to get him to, as he talks to the vendors,
Can we send what we have now? Because there's a chance we could get, if it turns around quickly.
well, I gave you what we have now.
There was something else we needed. We needed like a number for.
The remainder stuff, but he's upgrading the numbers, but we may have to put something in there that says that it may be so many percent more.
Okay.
So he's gonna get an idea today, because like you said, when you underprice it, it's hard to And then
And
it
it
does
sits
cost
there,
more.
and it-
It's better to put in there that it could possibly be a certain percentage higher, and that way we don't get snagged up.
I can submit the ones that we have now that, I mean, that would be worth it because if we get pushed into January, we're
Right.
gonna need them anyway, but we use the ones that we have now. I'll put them in at 5% higher and
Right.
say, this is a conservative estimate on what
Yeah.
they're going to increase to. I think they would be fine with that. They have like a new approval process. So we're doing this like, it seems like it's just taking a
So a
long
couple
time.
changes are our hurdles as far as our purchasing policy and how we have to get quotes and get the formalities that way. Plus their process. So you got two conflicting things, but it's been good thus far. We've gotten a lot
Yes.
for free.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of improvements for no money that benefited the people. So
Did we
um,
lower on that list? I have a reason for asking, I promise.
we put a trail mower on it.
Okay, so theoretically, could that be used to hit the wastewater treatment plant?
No.
How? Right. Here's my thought is that
Another time, another time,
picking through that list, Fred.
another time.
It does say discussion on your agenda.
No.
No, okay. Don't say ouch, then it'll get mad at me later. I'm sorry, like.
So we'll keep working on those things and I'll get those to Aaron. Material bids are today at 10 a.m. So those are for
That's the opening or that's when they're due?
bid opening is this morning. So
I'm already crying.
well, there's gonna be an increase, so we talked about that prior to the budget. But we do have some pretty good stockpiles, so it just might mean a little less commodities. We'll be safe.
Should we put a tentative resolution for awarding it?
Yes,
Okay.
I did put it.
Oh,
If you
okay.
read my whole agenda, it's on the bottom. So we'll be doing that today, but keep in mind that we are working off of 22 pricing, so or 22, 23. So we have held it. We did put that in this bid mechanism so that if people can hold prices up to 3 years, we'll take advantage of that again. So town hall, I know Courtney and Kara have been working on getting quotes for the cleaning and mitigation of areas identified at town hall. So I know Bill, you requested to review them as well, just like the other stuff.
A
So
lot of information there.
yes, there is a lot, and
Lot
there's
of
a
information.
lot of different scopes of work, but I think it's needed to be done, and I think just the smart choice as far as reviewing them and
Yeah.
getting it done.
As long as we're speaking about town hall, where are we with the roofer? And the quote for the outside of the building and that sort of thing.
So Charlie did an inspection of the roof work that was done, was satisfied and released. I had him put footnotes in there about the outside work, the window caulking,
The gutters.
the gutters. That he also put footnotes in there. So there were some, these are copper gutters. When the seams break, they have to be soldered. It isn't just a caulk or anything like that. So it's a tedious process. He was going to look at that. I know they straightened out some that were bent, but we had some seams that were broken prior to their work. So I know they did straighten up. I know Charlie was okay with felt confident in the roof that was done and had recommended to release that. And
This is their last payment,
I believe so, yeah.
so he's okay with they straightened the gutters out that needed straightening.
Yeah, but they still, some of them need work, so that was gonna be his next price, was to fix some of the seams that were bad before we even started the roof process, so there's some things that need to be addressed there. Anything else on that, Bill? Okay. All right, yard waste loose leaf pickup, been going on since October 27th. Crews have been working till dark most days. They've been working holidays. They've been working days after the holidays. To cover as much ground as we can. We've had 3 crews out constantly.
Great job, by the way. We were talking about how we did not receive one nasty phone call whatsoever with that snow. And to have it on the last week of leaf pickup was really awesome. No, not one complaint. It was pretty great.
So in a summary of that, we were about halfway completed through zone 4 for the second time. If this stuff melts, I know the forecast is actually pretty cold for the next week or so. You're gonna see a whole lot of ugly because there are leaf piles along the road.
Yeah, and then they get plowed back, but that happens.
We did make it through and we try to encourage, once you get your first pickup, if you can or bag it is your best option, but it's not always perfect. A lot of people's leaves, the oaks tend to have a tendency to fall last. So there's not a lot of options. A lot of people have lawn services do their lawns and send them to the curb. So, they don't actually have the ability to go out there and get them every time a leaf falls. So we understand that, but I want people to know that we made every effort possible to get these things done.
We do the best that we can. Some years we were able to get it all up, and some years it happens
Well,
like
we've
this.
had some years where it was 72 degrees
Yeah.
on Christmas too. So,
Right.
think
A few years ago, do you
Yeah.
remember that?
things
Several years in a
change.
row.
So,
Creepy.
although I don't want to say we're pulling a plug, I would like to say that, we want to stay optimistic that we'll get some melt and we'll be able to get some of it. Will we get all of it? I don't know. I mean, now that the snow's mixed into it and it's gonna freeze, it's
Need a big thaw to get it.
yeah. And we scurried. I mean, we worked all day Monday right till dark and then had to break things down for the Tuesday storm. So that's a lot of effort in itself. So even if we do get out, it'll be limited because of just a couple older trucks that we didn't transition yet that we're just kind of holding out. Hopefully, we didn't just say no, we're not going back out. We are kind of holding a couple in case we are able to get back out. As far as the cans and bags, that portion of the program is done for the year. The company is down there actually grinding everything that we had stockpiled for the year. So it's essentially our last cleanup with that. So
Like a little info, something about like how the snow impacts the leaves and bagging stuff at the very end and things like that. So we have to send out the yard waste bills anyway. So I feel like we could put a little info sheet in there. Might help even just,
what are we gonna label it? Common sense?
to tell you, my leaves fall really, really late. And before I started working here, I didn't understand the nuance to it. And so I feel like that's probably most people.
That is most people.
You know, they-
Why can't you go? It's already snowed.
So
with
write a
transition
letter,
plowing roads.
to a letter like you would have liked to receive back when you didn't know about leaf pickup.
That's what I'm gonna do, but I wouldn't even
Okay.
write a letter. I would do like
Right, I'll give you my
little
blessing on
people
it.
that are like, bagging their leaves in late
The
November.
people that called, they didn't rake their leaves. They were on vacation and they
Yep.
raked their zone too. And they were on vacation. Well, then they came back from vacation and raked their leaves and want us to go back and pick their leaves up because that's what, we can't.
I feel like we could put some
Like
information.
like I
about
say,
how
there's
to
a
do
lot of
that.
different scenarios. There's a lot of people that use that are actually they need the lawn care company to come. They're just either they can't get out and physically do it themselves or their schedules don't let them get out. I mean, you drive like I do. I
Yeah,
mean,
but if you're having a lawn care company, they should be taking them. I mean, I was out the other day, the guy had his own little, vac truck type thing and he was sucking them up as he got them cleaned up.
and it goes both ways. You know, back when you had like the bigger landscape companies, they would do that. Now, pretty much everybody's in business. You get a DBA and a lawnmower and a flatbed trailer and you're the guys. But regardless, we don't have control over that. But I mean, there are a lot of different scenarios that people just can't get out there. But you drive the neighborhoods like I do on a weekend during leaf season, there are a lot of residents out there just scurrying to get stuff out. So, um, but there is a lot of different causes why everybody don't get it out, but it is very good. I think we've come a long way with our notices and posting of how we do things. So I think we've come a long way there. I think we've educated a lot more. I think, obviously the task of coming up with trying to make the yard waste, no overtime to try to make it more sustainable so that we don't have to raise rates. I think that little adjustment we made, it took some time for people to get used to it, but it worked. We saved some money there. So we'll just continue to try to do that with the loose leaf and see where we end up. I do have some numbers. This is the beginning of the week of Thanksgiving, so that wasn't calculated in, but and there's past ones on there. So just so that you have some data, we'll get it a little more complete once we have some time. So, all right.
Really? I mean, so we'll add a little bit to this, but that's pretty. What are we missing here? Why do we have so,
Do look at the yardage, 95
yeah,
that year. We're at 44 this year.
why is it so low? Just because we missed it, that last pick?
Well, there's still some left. We didn't 100% complete like we did that number, but there, you still have 2 weeks, and look what it costs you a week for. So there's going to be some added money there. That's not your final one. So also we have a contract for the county mowing.
So too, right?
Yes, that's a reso.
I have that on resolution.
That's a standard thing that we do, the triangles on Route 7 in Union and Grand Boulevard to keep our entrances into the town attractive and maintained for our people. So town board resolution, accept the bids from today's opening. Hopefully the equipment for Mohawk Park. Now,
Can you elaborate on the equipment versus just using the word equipment?
Not yet, because we have, it has to go through Ways and Means at the state level to get approved, and we can't spend the money until we know it's approved, or else they won't. Although I don't know, I'm gonna ask.
we were optimistic that we could get
So-
that box checked and okay
Yeah,
to
and
do
just to
this, so
set
that's
aside-
why I listed it that way.
Just have it tentative for now, but we'll have a whole like laundry list of things. And if it goes through, we already have the paperwork,
Right.
we'll put it in.
It won't necessarily be itemized at finance. We'll still, I'm sure, be waiting for a yes or no, but it could become finalized between finance and town board, which then would be equipment purchases. So,
We could, you know what I'll do is I'll send you the grant application list. And then that way we could at least have something for the other board members to look at
Great.
finance. That'll work.
Thank you.
What else you got?
nothing, open discussion.
Anybody else for Ray? You're getting off easy today.
That's good. Well, we already got hit up from the person in the right.
Good job with this storm,
Thank
Tuesday, you guys did an excellent job cleaning up from the snow.
you.
Good job. Timing was very good. It's all, we talked about it.
The guys
timing-
did it.
Timing, you got it right on the money this time.
The guys did a great job from having, we had a little bit of transition from leaf stuff to plow stuff. They put a long day in. They went home around 9 o'clock. The roads were clear, but the temperatures were saying that it was going to be sub-zero the next morning. So we were back in at 4. So take the timeline. You get out of here at 9 after getting here at 6, and then go home and maybe clean your driveway, maybe just go in and clap. You get a few hours of sleep, and they were back at it at 4 a.m. So it did work out, but that's how we have to do it when there's a a 12-hour duration storm
Yeah.
is you got to stay with it. And it did work out well. So kudos to all the guys that had to do extra hard to get things on the road. So
And whoever came here just before either 8 o'clock and started doing the parking lot, tell them thank you. That was wonderful.
well, I told them what time you showed up, so I said make sure. I go, it's not like her to complain, but just in case.
I had my boots on. I never complained.
I
when
always have my
went-
boots
yeah.
on when I talk to you.
All right, Lori.
Alrighty, Toys for Tots, in the box in the lobby, we've already, fully filled 5 boxes. And I've been pulling them out, and putting a fresh one down just to keep it clean down there. I think after Parents' Night Out, we're gonna have the biggest collection we've had so far. I
Wow.
know, and it started off extremely slow and it just ramped up. It's been amazing. They should be picking it up, I think the week of the 12th. So right after our parents' night, right after our parents' night out. Things of my very own. It started on November 8th, and as of December 1st, we've received 760 tags, many of which have been given back to us from other sites who could not get rid of them. One site in particular never got rid of any of their tags, so we're pulling back 35 and 50 at a time. We are the only site that randomly emails out. And to date, I have emailed out 593, and that was as of Monday. And on a snow day, let me tell you, what I went through was unbelievable. So we're gonna, it'll be well over 1,000. And it's
What are you at now?
593, and that was Monday. And then I did a bunch on Tuesday. So
That's awesome.
That's really incredible.
I can't even, it's been amazing. And
What's the cutoff for dropping the stuff off for people?
well, it goes in increments. So now there's one that's on the 6th, and I had put out an SOS to people because I had received a bunch of tags back and people jumped right in. Then the next one is the 13th, and then there will be one after that, and then the one on the 20th. The one on the 20th, we are the only site that will have these tags because they're going to be virtual only. So it's kind of exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
That's really great. You
We're
do a
doing good
great
stuff.
job with that,
Yeah,
Lori.
I'm very happy. And they're beyond thrilled down there. We get nothing but love from them. So, and it's a great organization. Our annual tree lighting will be next Friday, the 12th, from 5 to 7. Of course, the choir will be here and we're having hot chocolate, but Courtney has ramped it up and we are going to have Santa here, in the boardroom doing pictures and receiving letters, to Santa. And then if the parents give us a self-addressed stamped envelope, we will return a letter from Santa to the child.
Gosh, I'm loving that.
I know, I'm very excited. We got a backdrop. We're all good.
I'm
very
still trying to
excited.
find a mailbox for you too, like one
Well,
of those big.
if you
stand-up
couldn't
ones.
find one, I was gonna make one. So just let me know.
Well, I'm even thinking maybe that's a great project we always have people asking us to, like what kinds of projects to do. I feel like that would be such a cute project
Oh,
for
absolutely.
Cub
It's just a
Scouts.
quick turnaround time because it's next Friday.
next year,
Oh,
but
definitely. Yeah,
we did a cardboard one this year and like
Oh,
spray
yeah.
painted it red and
Absolutely.
yeah.
Who's gonna do that?
I
I'm Didn't you see my rub-a-dub-dub?
Arts and crafts, arts and crafts.
And thank you to Ray and Andrew and his crew for the tree. It's gorgeous this year. Once again, that tree is gonna go in the park in the spring. So
When's Courtney gonna decorate that?
we're gonna decorate that
Today.
Before it gets cold, I hope, go out early.
It's an honor that I let you do that, I'm usually very possessive of that tree.
She'll be out supervising.
She's telling you it's an honor, but we know it's a test, so we'll see how you do.
Ray, is it not an honor? It's hard for me to
It
get
is.
that tree.
It's hard to let go.
I know.
Lori did it forever,
I did it forever. I love it.
but Lori did it off a ladder. Courtney's probably gonna need a bucket truck, Heat on out there.
Parents' Night Out will be the following Saturday, from 6 to 9 for children ages 4 to 10. Admission is, one toy for Toys for Tots. We are going to be watching the movie Elf, and participants are encouraged to wear their pajamas and bring a carpet-friendly snack. We opened it up on Monday, and by Tuesday we were almost full. So very excited. It's a great event. Our ski club for 2026 is open runs from January 9th to February 13th. It's for high school students only. Parent chaperones are always welcome. Bill, if you're interested. You've been there in the past.
Ashok skis too, so we'll see.
There you go.
You're
there
the chaperone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
I
anyone
have done
interested
that.
just needs to contact Julie. And I don't know if anyone has noticed the new addition to Town Hall, all the wreaths that we have hung up. This is our first annual Festival of Wreaths. Courtney spearheaded that. You want to talk about it?
Well,
How many we have and
15, we have 15 from local residents and businesses displayed around the town hall. And people are encouraged to come in and vote for their favorite or what represents Niskayuna to them. There's a little box down by the front doors that you can put your little vote in. And the winner has bragging rights. So, and we'll display those on the website.
it looks beautiful. I think it makes Town Hall look very cozy. And our tree will be up shortly, right? Yes. Charlie put up her tree. And
For New Year, right? New Year tree or the? No, they're coming. Andrew's guys are coming today,
awesome.
and they're gonna do everything.
Candy cane and all that.
I talked to Charlie this morning, so we're all set with
Thank you.
getting everything.
And this year we also got wreaths for the light posts that are gonna go around the circle. Red bows.
Donated by
Beautiful. Yeah. Our own elf. And number 6 are discussion items that Erin has received. You'll see the attached to the packeters A, B, and
Yes.
C.
Thanks for printing that out too. I think I forwarded, I'm pretty sure that I sent a forward of this. So hopefully everyone's familiar with it, but we have, a local business owner who, is interested in converting, at least temporarily to see how it works, the area where the transfer station used to be into a kind of food truck park, which would, I think the way he's envisioning it would be sort of like an outdoor Galleria 7 type style. So like, he's got a lot of different businesses with different menus. And I think it's a really interesting idea. This business owner, Mr. Nicky, has already spoken with Niskayuna Baseball, who's taken over that concession stand / bathrooms, actually the winterized ones, and has agreed to compensate Niskayuna Baseball for what they would have, the money they would have made off of concessions to take over their concessions on game days and things like that as well. Because obviously, a food truck park is going to look a little bit more appealing than the Gatorade and candy, except for my kids, of course. So they seem to be okay with it. They're in support of it. I'm pretty sure baseball has a lot of trouble staffing their concession stand a lot because it's volunteers. So it might be a really welcome change for them. I spoke with Elena about it briefly, and it would be something we would have to put out and allow people to bid on, a sort of lease of sorts. I also have to look into whether or not we have to use a public hearing in order to create a lease for the space as well. That seems to be an unanswered question as well. Aside from the logistics of getting it set up, I'm kind of curious what you guys think as far as the concept.
How often is he gonna be there?
I have no idea. I would imagine, I was even wondering, spring and late fall, it'll be colder, so it's nice to have the bathrooms and the warm space there. But is he going through the winter? I don't know. I think from a town perspective, it would be, we could probably dictate some sort of terms in the lease if we had an idea of what we wanted it to be like closed down or open or what. But
Was he gonna do it on the weekends? Is he gonna do it when there's events there?
it sort of sounded like a full-on business concept, like a regular hours and a destination spot,
It's a neat
really.
idea, given the proximity to the two parks. And on top of that, you've got the you've got, GE and.
GE is
Chapel.
exactly what I was thinking of, because you could drive right over.
That's a very
to
active
lunch.
park
It
between
is.
the baseball playing and then lacrosse is there in the small rink. So
You could set a schedule.
Right, I mean, we could,
For all of his other.
at first I was sort of like, that's gonna be weird. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what? All we ever talk about is how we just don't have enough restaurants in Niskuna. And that's, I mean, even for us over here,
Well,
like a quick lunch spot or, you know what I
I
mean?
think alone with the events that you guys have had between the night out and the thing you did here on for Halloween, look at the lines at the food trucks. So people, when they'll probably tend to stay at these events longer if they can get something warm to drink or a popcorn or a piece of pizza. So I think alone showing what has gone on, it's working. So even when the guy was poaching down the Blatnick there, same thing. Knowles would come over the taco, wasn't it a taco guy or something,
Yeah.
right?
There
He
was
was-
somebody came down there and.
Yeah, he was poaching. He was poaching there in the
Catching
front
the
parking
walkers.
lot. He just
The lunch
happened to
walkers.
show up and he was loaded
Yeah.
with people.
Well, we gotta work on whatever lease permitting process, whatever logistics we need for that.
We can definitely do that if we think it's a good idea. I mean, I'm all about trying new things and it's dead space for the town, so.
Well, you gotta talk about garbage. Are they gonna handle their own garbage
I would
removal
imagine-
and all that?
Again, we can dictate all of that, so maybe we sit down and say, what are the things that could happen that would be really annoying and make sure that they're included.
I
in
mean,
the-
if
Yeah.
we create the pathway, I mean, you're actually providing something for residents and parents that go there. You're not forcing them to buy from there, but if that's an option, a lot of these families rush there after work to go play a game and they got other
Yeah.
kids with them and they got to eat, they
You're
got to,
absolutely
so
right.
if you provide them with an opportunity, they don't have to buy it, but if there's options,
Mhm.
it may work out just well.
Even people just splash pad. There's always a lot of families
Yeah.
over there. who
Yeah.
might go over and get something to eat.
I think it's a great idea. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, I was curious to see what you guys thought, but the more I think about it, the more I think it's.
Oh, there is a lot of usage in that area in the parks
Yeah.
and as you said, GE lunchtime, whatever. I mean, they can make a business out of it, make it work.
I mean, okay, so I'll take, I'm guessing it's gonna take me a while. I'll say that I'll hope that we could put something out for January, but if there's a public hearing, that's obviously gonna delay us a little bit. I just
You
have to
you
find out.
wouldn't be looking at that until springtime for by the time you close it up and dress that area up and
That's true, except for us to get a lease created, do a public hearing to put the lease out there, then put the lease out there and get the replies, then select the replies and then allow them to do
even
it.
if you started in January, you're looking at March, April,
At
which is
least,
the
yeah.
beginning of at least you'll know if you're heading in the right direction to do
True.
it. So we'll get
Um,
time.
Okay, so good. So everyone's in agreement that it's a good idea to
Oh,
kind of pick at it?
absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Unless it flops and then it's all your
And then
fault.
it's my fault. Well, that's the nice thing is that, we can, if it flops, but we get at least tried it, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Zero emission vehicle infrastructure. We'll put that on.
Yes, I did. Hold on. I had way too many of these emails that I had to remember. Do we want to, this was really more of a Ray question.
I doubt it. Doesn't sound like a Ray question.
So it's a Ray question because we have a few charging stations around town. This grant allows us to add more would be paying for them in full. Do we have areas of town? Has anyone heard complaints about us not having enough? Are there areas that we don't have any that we want to add them? The ones that we have now, I'm not in love with because I think the contract that was signed was misunderstood and it ends up costing the town money.
Although they're free to install,
It's
the
the
power
software.
monthly is not.
And my thought, well, the power is not, but theoretically, we should be charging what it costs us for the power. What kills us is the software. And I don't think we realized that we had to pay for software on top of the power once these things were installed. It's like it's sort of a mess. We're in the middle of that contract and we'll be able to renegotiate it once it's over, but just sort of annoying. This way we could at least, we're aware that that's a possibility, and we'll make sure that whatever we're looking at would make sense for us to put in, like,
So we
The ones at the
have-
parks, people are paying for the power.
but it doesn't cover the cost.
It doesn't
of what
cover the cost. It
It
goes
doesn't
under your
cover the-
parks expenses.
It's really annoying.
Your
So we're not-
utility expenses for parks, which is your bathrooms, your concessions, all that stuff. When we get a monthly bill for all that.
No, we do, but
Right,
and they
but-
do pay for the actual power. Once it's not a one-to-one. In fact, we might make a few cents off of what we're paying in power, although we wouldn't know at baseball because that's a whole other conversation. But we are paying on top of what we're paying for power, a software line, and that's where we're getting hit. And and it's only like a couple $1,000s, but it's like a couple $1,000s. It's like
Right, so the
irritating.
fees gotta go up for the
So
electricity.
we have them at train station, River Road, Iskuna Baseball.
Yep.
Town Hall.
Yeah.
Correct?
Mhm.
Those are our ones that we currently have.
I wouldn't mind putting a couple more here, to be honest. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
that one's
always
always
Here's the
used.
thing here, though. She told me the ones here had to be free. The
Um,
first ones that we got,
Yeah, but they're only free for a certain period of time. We have to go back and
Right.
take it, and then we can start charging. But the thing is maybe eventually down the line, if this grant's available now and we do end up getting more electric cars for town use, then now we have spots here to park them with charging stations and they're already paid for. So I mean, I don't know. I there's a lot of benefit to it. I think we would just have to investigate the fees so that we know it's like a net zero. For
and
the town.
locating them, where are we gonna put them?
I think here.
These are level two.
Wherever you push the snow is usually a good
Of
spot.
course, yeah. Level two chargers.
Sure, Bill. I know what that means.
There's 1, 2, and 3. A lot, what's happening now out there is I'm seeing a lot more level 3 chargers, which
Those
is.
are the zero
high-
emission
Those
ones.
are high powered chargers.
Oh, they go quick.
Yeah, we're.
I don't know. I'm not sure
we
it
can be
specifies.
charged in 20, 30 minutes.
Do they pay for those?
Yes.
So what is there out here? 3 or 4 stations,
These are, I think there's
Two.
2
Was it-
out here.
I thought it was
Just two?
Two, but
which
there's
are
one
used
100%.
by
Oh.
our electric
Building department,
vehicles
correct.
at nighttime, but it's open to other people use them during the day, right?
Correct. Free.
Right.
Because
So,
apparently
if
that
this is
grant
a-
that we got for those, it was, we weren't supposed to be charging for that. We didn't anticipate them getting used that much, which they aren't. We're using them for our.
Yeah, but
vehicles.
there's.
But there are people coming.
So if that is an upgrade, then put a couple more stations for the public and just leave those for
That's sort of what I was
ours,
thinking.
for our vehicles that we currently have. And possibly, if you're talking future,
Mhm.
maybe you put a couple stations in
Yeah.
our part of the parking lot, like where PD is or
It's
whatever.
two, L2. So you said the level two?
Yeah. Okay, well, we gotta look at what we have available for power in order to put more.
That way
stations.
we have
I
our
love
own
your electrical
infrastructure for our
background. I forgot
vehicles,
about that.
You just can't pop them in.
right? That way we have our
Mm-hmm.
own infrastructure for our vehicles. And there is still some for the public, available to the public, so.
We could pick at it, see if it makes sense.
Okay, more to look at.
Yeah.
My electric car circle personally is very small, so I'm not an expert in this.
I'm like the worst. I'm like
You just
very
think that-
non-electric.
You just think
cars.
everything is great ideas, so we'll just go
I
with
love
that.
free money, Ray. That's why I like.
Future
I don't even-
infrastructure.
Yeah. Well,
It
that's
is.
actually what I was thinking because I had this conversation with Jordan because we talk,
Well, then
I
it's
mean,
done
sort of-
deal.
well, you listen for police cars, right? So we talked about because the technology has gotten a lot better. It's gotten a lot better. And so we sort of, I said, is that ever going to be something that's envisioned? And he was sort of like, there's really no reason that like a detective vehicle or even a supervisor vehicle couldn't be, you
So
know,
that would make sense to put a couple on this side. of the
that's why
street,
I was
Working
thinking.
with you.
I
Uh-huh.
like it. So that's sort of what I was thinking. We can get, I mean, maybe the public is utilizing them for now, but if we get to a point where that's what we're doing, we already have the infrastructure and then it's just kind of done. Ideas.
We have to monitor the costs.
Monitor the costs and then just make sure, to your point, we're not spending extra money and bringing in more power and whatever. Although these grants are through National Grid, so I'm curious to see if maybe that's helpful. I don't know that I trust them really. So I will get more information.
Okay,
And then last letter of income.
in-kind donations,
That's gotta be a resolution. We would like to provide a receipt for the work that I can't, I only know his name. I don't know the name of the business. He's a baseball parent, and he donated the equipment and the lumber and all of the stuff for the new dugouts at the fields. So if we accept them as a donation, I mean, they're on our property, so they're automatically part of our coffers. But if we formally accept the donation and put a dollar amount on it, I have him sending some backup on that. Then he can use it to, as a tax write-off for his business.
Which they did quite a few of them down there and they did a very
did a
nice
great
job.
Yeah.
That was I mean, I'm sure baseball is grateful for
Yes.
what he did give because it definitely improved them. They did a really great job.
So that would be I'm pretty sure it's just a resolution to accept the donation. And look for an in-kind one resolution that maybe we could use as and I'll double check with Elena to have her look that one over because it'll be a bit weird. And then we'll get a letter going and send it over.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to do this just because I feel like it would encourage other,
Absolutely, yeah.
Again, free money, guys, free money.
Okay.
Getting you to let go of it, sorry.
What else you got?
That's it. So the resolution and kind donation, and that's all I have.
All right, Linda.
Okay. I do have a question. Did we receive the check from Broken In for their donation from your event?
Great question. I haven't seen it, but I think he usually operates on a bit of a lag. I just from other organizations that have received donations from him, but I can check in with him because I gotta check back.
Yeah, I believe it was 625, 600.
I never found out how much it was, but.
And I
that
just
sounds
wanted
good.
to clarify and understand that is going to be used towards 2026 programming.
If we accept it now,
The Murdoch factor.
I gotta check and see. Why do you have something for it now that you want to use it?
No, we prefer
like to have
to use
it
it
in
for programming
26.
for 2026.
Okay, then we'll just wait on it.
Because we have a little bit of a lag, like we send letters out and we have a little bit of a lag sometimes with the way, before they announce or let us know what's coming, if anything. And we use, everything that we have to put towards programming. So for instance, you'll notice in our December calendar for exercise that this first full week is full on exercise, but then we've tapered it and we've rearranged our schedule a little bit because we ran out of that money the grant money that we rely on. So everything that we get, even if it's, if it's at that right end of the year moment, we'd rather take it for first quarter 2026.
That's totally fine. We created a $0 line for revenue. So in the past, we've thrown these things into that pot of money that, if you remember and can prove that it came in for you, then we didn't do that for this budget. We created the $0 revenue line, which means once you put that $625 in there, you can spend it immediately. We will have like a sub accounting of that line item to say, this is what came in and here's what it's for. And it is directed to the senior center.
2026 year.
Absolutely.
It looks like
And
it's
so-
not coming into, probably won't come in until almost 26 anyway, so then you're.
So that's also
Sorry, I'm listening online. If it comes in this year, it has to go to this.
That's why
year.
we're going to tell him to not
Roll the
send it
fund
in.
balance.
Yep.
Yeah, and do a fund balance transfer from 2020 into 2026.
Yes.
Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome.
And so
Sorry.
we stay
don't-
tight and care on those things.
I'll just tell him to send it in January. I'm sure he won't.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it this month
Makes it
anyway,
easier for
so.
you.
Makes it much
Yeah.
easier for us.
Ta-da!
Thank you.
Hold the
Um,
checks till the first of the year.
Yeah. You can put on that in notes
That's
for
good to know.
January.
So All right, so, so let's, just a little recap. We had a Veterans Day celebration at the center. We do something called the Missing Man's Table. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's really lovely. And, I think it was greatly appreciated. So that was very nice. We had Thanksgiving pies. We did dessert first before Thanksgiving. So we just had a few little pies. Everybody was happy. So we got us off to a good holiday. We have, it's a short month, but it's a busy month. We did have our trip. We took our trip last Tuesday night prior to the holiday, and it was to see the lights up in Clifton Park.
Yeah.
And it went really well. Everybody was really happy. So, I think we had it was either 12 or 13 of us on the bus. So that was great. The heat worked phenomenal. I was dying. But it was- so thank you, Ray, for that. The next trip is 12/14. It's on a Sunday. Paul, who is our substitute bus driver, will be handling that. And they're going over to Proctor's to see the Nutcracker. So again, a lot of excitement about that.
Is that something at the center or no?
What? Which part?
The Sunday?
Nutcracker. The Sunday is, they're going
He'll be
to
using a bus to take people to
use
Proctor's.
the bus to take them to Proctor's.
Okay, what, are they picking that, or they pick them up on their route, or does the rec
No,
center?
we meet
Meet at-
at one location and then the bus takes.
Where's the location, the rec center?
It could be. Yeah, I'll have to double check. I think we did make it to the right.
Well, only because it falls on a weekend, and if it's
Snowing and
a
whatever.
little bit of snow and we don't bother going out on the roads,
Yeah, we'll
I
have to
don't
keep
wanna
an eye on
create
that
a,
and make a judgment call.
we would have to
Yeah.
make special arrangements for you,
All right.
which we're not opposed to
I
doing.
mean,
if we just-
if the forecast is looking dicey, I'm probably gonna ask questions. I mean, we're probably gonna come and say, hey, how do you want us to handle this? Or what are our best options, safest options?
Who are you
So.
gonna ask that question to? Me?
Mhm.
Don't ever ask me what your best option is. Right, Aaron?
I'll definitely start with you, Ray.
And that's, what was the date on that? I'm sorry.
It's Sunday the
14th.
14th, so it's a week from now. I hope it warms up.
Yeah, I looked at the weather. I don't think it's supposed to be bad. Good. Let's stay with that.
They can't tell you what's gonna be tomorrow.
No.
Well, just in case, like if we had a Friday or Saturday night storm, I mean, we just go up and do a general cleanup, but if we knew you were gonna be there, we obviously would have to take the time to do in front of the doors and all that stuff.
For the lights.
Walk at the bus.
So for the, he just goes right out.
So he can just go pick it up and bring it over.
Yeah, and then.
Yeah, they have
Oh,
keys for the bus.
Like for the lights, we met up top. We kept everybody up top where the light, it's lights, it's.
Yeah.
Well, we could, and I can't, truthfully, we had this discussion and I apologize, but I can't remember what we landed on. So I will clarify that. Anybody who has any questions can call us. We tend to like one for one, keep in touch and make sure everybody's on the same page prior to that, especially since it's a Sunday. And then if I have any concerns with weather, I'll
Generally,
probably reach out to you guys just to make sure that we're.
Generally, what they do is they take the bus and put it inside when it snows, just to melt it off because of the laws with the snows on the roof and stuff. So we make sure it sits inside where we're out plowing, and then we'll put it back outside when we put our stuff in. So,
Thank you. So we have, our friends from the high school are coming over, Acquired Taste, and they're gonna do their holiday performance for everybody. That's gonna be next week on Tuesday the 9th. We have our holiday dinner. It's off-site this year on Thursday the 11th, but our program is fully open. So we're gonna divide and conquer and make sure that everybody gets taken care of. So that's how that's happening. That's at Turf Tavern. We also received a turkey donation, a fresh frozen turkey, so we'll be donating that. With the way the calendar falls, we're closed for almost 2 weeks. So there'll be some cost savings
Us too.
there. With
Yeah, so
our,
are we.
we will, however, be in to catch up and preset for the new year. So, we'll just keep you know, okay, so we usually do. So, we did, I was having a chat with Ecos. They come and go. I have a nice relationship. We all have a nice relationship with the moms group. We do some evening exercise. We also have Ecos. They come and go. They have their own schedule, and considerate, and they always usually reach out just to make sure that we're all ebbing and flowing okay. And in doing so, I happened to have a conversation with her, and she mentioned the fact that they're making some moves or hoping to make some moves for 2026. And in having that conversation, I naturally was like, so let's talk about funding. And she was very kind, and she actually she connected me with the person who's helped them to make that happen for them. And she also she sent me their little plate. So I have it here for you if you would like. I'm sure you probably have many of, much of your own magic, but I just figured it can't hurt. So
All the magic.
that is for you. And I attached the email exchange, and he's very kind and willing to, if you want a resource, because they just said it's so time consuming that they had this fellow was a little bit touched up.
Great.
So
Thank you.
if you're interested. Other than that, I think that's it. I wanted to give a shout out to Edie as well for her time and support for the wreaths. She did 2 submissions. She got one from our artist group, and then she got one from our seniors. So, and everything was really, really great. So you guys did a phenomenal job. It's really pretty. I think that's it, unless you have questions for me.
I have 2 quick additions. Sorry, I should have added these as discussions. Ray's really excited to talk about these.
We look at the time.
I'm sending in the agenda meeting, general government, a kind of like slight revision to the legislative committees, which this is one of them. One of the things I'm hoping to do is break up our economic development committee, because it tends to be a very long meeting because there's a lot of little things in there. And one of the things I thought made more sense is instead of having tree council as a part of that meeting, since tree council really falls under your purview and is obviously related to parks and street trees. I thought we would have them report to this committee as well, so that the discussions about tree planting, Arbor Day, like Arbor Day is now becoming this kind of like a community program that's run by her office right now. Anyway, so that's like their big event. I think they also have lots of great ideas. They tried to get a calendar thing together that we kind of stumbled through because we realized we're not supposed to be selling things for a profit, but we're, like those are the kinds of, so now we've got to sell them for exactly what they cost, which is fine. But, I understood the sentiment. And so like maybe because we're used to doing similar things, we could help their group do some fundraising and things like that. But I thought it was just better that the decision making really should be made in this committee. And so I feel like it makes more sense for them to be here, helps to break it up. And, maybe we can help them with the Arbor Day event as well. That's really the only major change, I think. I'm trying to think if I added anything else. I don't think I did. That was the only major change to this committee. The other thing that I had a discussion with outgoing board member Moskowitz yesterday about I haven't really landed on a name for this yet, and I've talked to Lori about this a bit, about having an outside group of non-employees kind of go through our parks and our recreation programs to have discussions about where things should be headed. We make a lot of decisions just sitting in here with our own scope of things. And I think having people outside of here talk through what they want and what they want to see with the use of our comprehensive plan, with the use of our natural resource inventory, with the use of our parks plan that was never really adopted from 2016. How can we update that? So I thought it would be helpful to have groups outside of here to talk through things, to feed information into this committee as well. I think we could also benefit from them doing some outside research that we might not have time to do. We talked about doing some surveys. We've talked a lot about the sports teams and kind of the impact of the costs of that. And really the relationships that have really eaten up a lot of our time as well. So I feel like if we can gain some capacity by utilizing volunteers to help with things like that, and we would have like a ready-made pot of volunteers for our events and things like that, we can do what a lot of people constantly encourage us to do, which is let's utilize our residents for things they want to help. So I talked with Jason about this yesterday, and he may be interested in helping us to run this committee. And I thought since he's already got experience on the board, he would sort of know what's possible, what's not possible. And I thought that would be a really good fit for him. So I'm throwing that out there. It's not going to be an overnight thing because I want to make sure that we're not creating a committee just to create a committee. I want to make sure that we have like a set goal of what we're trying to accomplish, and probably would need to be revisited every year. But as we wrap up the comprehensive plan, there's a lot of things in there. We should do this, we should do that, we should do this. Let's have them look at them and, see what's possible. Might even be able to get some, we have a grant writer in town who really wants to volunteer for a committee, who happens to have experience as a parks consultant, which is very interesting. So if we could have him help with that committee too, I feel like maybe we could find some money, again, that free money thing. So that's kind of my idea. We had our intern go through and do a little research paper of sorts of local towns, and some of them are not local, but they're at least New York State towns that have committees similar to this. So we don't have to, reinvent the wheel. So I have that document. I'm going to share it out just for you guys to kind of click through, get an idea about the concept. And yeah, that's what
Is it gonna be a broad variety of people?
I think it needs to be.
I think it does too. I think it just can't be sports groups advocating for their group. I don't think it can be environmentalists just advocating for their things. I've always tried to be an advocate of just the man and woman I see walking through the park, enjoying the trail, just going, hey, you guys do a great job. I think they need to be involved too.
I
But
agree.
what do they see?
I already have
We
a couple of
we
those.
find a
Yeah.
lot of just comparison. Well, we know they got that. We would like this. And
Exactly.
I'm all for a committee to have an outside look, and I mean, we know what we do on a daily basis to just keep the parks at the level we're at. Well, I mean, obviously, by doing what we're doing in our discussions, we want to go beyond that. We want to take care of some of the stuff that isn't being taken care of for the reasons that we're doing what we're doing. But in oversight, more than just a wish list for more, let's look at people that say, hey,
You're exactly right, which is why I feel like we have to be very clear about what the goals of the committee are. And it's not the dream team. Maybe it's the dream 10 years down the line,
Right.
but for this year, it's making those decisions right. Because a lot of times we're saying, look, the residents complain that you're parking all over the grass, at River Road Park. We've had this battle about putting lights up there. And it's like, it is a neighborhood park that happened to have fields. And now we've got this push to make it into a complex. Well, let's get the neighbors in there talking directly to these teams so that it's not coming through us, so that they know we're not trying to stop anything artificially. We have to balance everybody's needs and wants.
we need some common folk, is all I'm saying.
I agree. I totally agree.
I talk to a lot of wonderful people when we're working in those parks, and the people that come up and compliment the guys mowing and how nice it looks. And it's a big spectrum from what we hear about what people aren't getting. So when you hear both sides of the story, I had a gentleman that I remember when we cut the pine tree down for up in there, I met that gentleman.
Are you talking about, is it Calagrides? Is that
He
the
lives
one?
on Rosendale Road, he told me, but very nice
Might be
man.
the same guy.
And,
It was that
I
neighborhood.
said, hey,
He
we're
wants
gonna-
to be a part of the
we're
committee.
gonna do some, I hope he would
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
He was a pleasure to talk to. But, I told him we're gonna plant some new trees, and he was happy about that. He goes, well, I'm kind of old. I might not see him grow up, but it's good to know that, for what he thought he lost, he was happy that, so
Yeah.
those are the kind of people you want.
I think it needs to
totally
be more
agree.
a common resident.
Yeah.
In fact,
And if you're in any way, shape politically attached, no.
no,
Very
this needs to be a very apolitical committee.
And you will have some of those, but it can't be all about a me agenda. It's gotta be about just common. But what would you like your kids to do? What did your kids do when they were growing? Maybe you're older and your kids already grew up, but you wish they had what is there. So just a variety would be great, not just another to-do list. I
My
think,
thought was to have one representative of youth sports and that communicates to the rest of them so that it isn't an onslaught of me.
and I don't think that's a bad thing. I
I
think
think that's
every
the way to
voice
do
needs
it.
to be heard, but
It would be, I
I'm
think,
just
too
saying
loud
common
with
folk would be
everyone.
helpful.
So I was planning to have more of that because we don't hear from them and that's who we need to hear from. So
Right.
that's kind of my thought.
I
on
think
this.
they feel a lot of times they get stifled. They see a lot of big stuff going on and they're like kind of overwhelming. But
Yep.
when you talk to those people, when you're up there working, I mean, there are a lot of people who enjoy the trails in the back. You hardly ever see them. They really appreciate when you go in there and touch up the stone or cut the brush. They're really grateful. So those would be great people to have on your committees.
So that was the number one thing from the comprehensive plan was green space. Parks and green space are really important to our residents.
And we have a lot of that.
And we have a lot of that. And so we want to make sure that we're paying attention to that when we
Right.
do talk about
But
further.
your point,
development.
it's not to be made with lights for night games and then it's not green space. It's now a
Stadium.
If we know that's not going to work, then what are we working toward? Are we moving some of the fields? Are we asking that they, like, let's keep rec here, but with the understanding that, if you have this club sport, you're going to have to rent fields elsewhere. We just simply don't have what they need.
And not to string them along and just say, it's
not gonna happen.
So
Exactly.
if you're gonna have night games, maybe you make other alternatives. I mean, there ain't no sense of telling people it might happen down the road when it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think be truthful, and just,
Sometimes people have to hear no and they don't like to hear it, but I know you are.
I just feel like the youth sports thing has taken over all of our parks, really. And it's not bad because we have multiple generations who are going to watch even their families play. But at the same time, it stifles the voice of the people who just want to walk through beautiful
and
trails.
to their credit, they do put a lot of work in the fields as well. They're
absolutely
not
do.
just asking. A lot of the parents are doing hard work, but if their ultimate vision and our ultimate vision don't match, then it's better to be clear about it and still get some advocates for just park use and trail use. I think
Yeah.
everybody deserves a voice.
Green space,
Green space.
open, just.
Yeah. So, and now we have some things to help them guidance wise with the NRIs got recommendations in there and the comprehensive plan has recommendations. So now we have this, we can hand them these documents and say, here are your guiding documents. What's everybody thinking?
I think you're right, though. There is a lot of people that want to help
Yeah.
and want to be involved and maybe just feel a little timid by everything that's happening. So
Well, we don't have a
hopefully-
mechanism for them.
hopefully we get some good ones. And I honestly think Jason would be he's good with the people.
Yeah.
He's always been involved with us, always asked, always supported us.
Right, and he doesn't overpromise.
No, he
Right,
doesn't.
he doesn't,
He
but
knows
he
what's what.
does look into a lot of things. I've had a lot of communications with, all you board members over the years. And Jason, although he wasn't our committee chair, was always interested in what we were doing, why we needed something to get his support. So I think he would be a good fit, actually.
Okay, so we're enjoying the idea.
I like it.
Okay, I'll circulate the document so you guys can kind of check out some other ones just to see which ideas you might like from one versus the other. And then I thought we could just kind of write up a quick charter of sorts with some of the goals, and I could bring that to the January meeting to have you guys look over. Does that sound good?
And again, if it doesn't work out, it's on you.
It always though.
All right, anything else? Our next meeting is January 8th, 8 AM. When are we getting the calendar out?
That is going to
For you.
be the draft you'll have at the finance and agenda meeting, and hopefully we are approving it this month. for next year. We're
Right.
just making sure, I think we have a Shokes meeting time. I think we just have to firm up Sarah's for, her committee. That's really all we're waiting, because it's new, you know.
Yeah.
All right,
Are we sticking with this, the 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock Thursday,
8
January
o'clock
8th.
first Thursdays.
No change is good change.
January 8th. It'll actually be the second Thursday since we're not. gonna
Never
meet
heard
on the
that, right?
first.
I bet you haven't.
That is a holiday. Although it's on my calendar, it automatically fed in to have our meeting. on
What's
the
January
1st.
8th?
That's our meeting. I'm just explaining that
Oh.
my calendar got filled with the highway and parks for the first.
Yeah,
I don't-
be there,
I'll be alone, won't I?
So you want to just push it to the following week?
The
I think it's a 5 week week, so we're fine to do that.
The 8th.
5 week month, I meant to say.
So somebody will have to, whoever does these automatic things, I don't know who does that.
It just stays in there. We haven't done anything because we haven't done the calendar for next year, so we just kind of left everything as is. But
Okay.
your agenda says the 8th.
Yeah.
So,
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, motion to adjourn,
Okay,
second,
all of us.
Second.
all those in favor,
Aye.
any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey, where is that?
Jeez, I didn't realize what time it was. I have to run.
gotta
run,
go?
run. Yeah.
What are you doing?